Hola amigos. Today we're going to talk about the past perfect or the pluperfect. It's the same thing. In Spanish, we call it the pluscuamperfecto. As a review, remember back to the present perfect, which was the form of haber in the present tense, plus the second verb, hado and ido. The present tense of haber was has, ha, hemos, habéis, han, and had the equivalent of have done something. For example, he cantado, I have sung. He comido, I have eaten. He vivido, I have lived. In Spanish, you use the pluperfect tense when referring to actions that had happened in the past. For example, I had washed the car. I had done the washing, and so on. So how do we form the pluperfect or past perfect? Instead of conjugating the verb haber in the present tense with the present perfect, we conjugate the verb haber in the past tense or the imperfect tense. That's the past perfect. So your conjugations of haber are había, I had, habías, había, habíamos, habíais, habían. And then you follow that with the second verb. AR verbs have hado. ER and IR verbs have ido. And don't forget that we have some irregular past participles that do not end in hado and ido. For example, decir dicho, hacer hecho, ver visto, abrir abierto, absolver, which you actually haven't learned yet, absuelto, cubrir cubierto, escribir escrito, freír frito, morir muerto, poner puesto, romper roto, satisfacer satisfecho, volver vuelto. As some examples, he had done, había hecho. They had drunk, habían bebido. We had worked, habíamos trabajado. Let me put some other examples here for you guys. Okay, so we also typically use this verb tense, the past perfect, with the word ya, which means already. And we typically use this form as a past tense to a past action or an action that occurred before a specific point in time. Okay, let me give a couple examples. Cuando llegué a clase hoy, when I arrived to class today. So that's a specific point in time in the past. It could be at any time. Okay, this just happens to be today. Cuando llegué a clase hoy, ya había hecho ejercicio. I had already done exercise, or I had already exercised. The word ya means already, indicating that this action had happened before this action. Cuando llegué a clase hoy, ya había hecho ejercicio. When I arrived to class today, let's just say 9 o'clock, I had already exercised. So that's something that had happened before I arrived in class. Let me do another example. María preparó, la cena anoche, pero antes ya había preparado el postre. So Maria prepared dinner last night, but before she had already prepared dessert. So before preparing dinner, she had prepared dessert. Now students ask me, is this a verb tense that we use a lot in Spanish? And I will say that in everyday colloquial speech, it's not used incredibly much. Just as in English, we don't really use had done something very often. However, it is a verb form that is used, just the same as it would be used in English. And in English, we tend to use the contracted form like I'd already done that. Oh yeah, by the time I got up this morning, my dogs my dogs had already gone outside. Okay, so we use it, but in common everyday quick speech, we tend to use a lot of present tense, a lot of preterite and imperfect, a lot of voi a, like ira plus infinitive. However, it is still very important to learn this tense because it needs to be used when it needs to be used. Okay, so now let's go ahead and go on and do some practice exercise.